Guys, it's Lori. Happy Labor Day. If you have the day off, I hope you're relaxing. If you're working, I hope you're taking it easy there too. And I hope you're making extra money for working on a holiday. So, today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about soul wounds and how they connect to health issues that we have. Do you notice a lot of people are suffering from autoimmune diseases? Did you notice that cancer seems to be more common than it has been ever? And there's different factors for all these diseases showing themselves. We have new diseases coming up. We have personality disorders like never before. And I think a lot of that is caused because society has changed. I mean, we call things personality disorders when they're not. But there are some legitimate disorders. There's definitely some physical health issues that are more common than they used to be, and I think there are different factors to that. I think the environment has changed. We have much more toxins the way we eat. We have poisons going into our system. We're breathing in poisons. But aside from that, on a spiritual level, on an energetic level, society has changed as a whole. It's flipped upside down, and if you haven't noticed that, just look around, just watch the news. Things are different. We celebrate things that are totally against the word of God. We create our own idea of God and what he would want or she would want or whatever. As people, our will has kind of taken over the will of God. Now, I'm not saying everybody. There are still those people that follow the will of God. But we're living in a society as a whole, so we have a consciousness. And there have been studies done where a whole group of people believing the same thing actually manifest it to be. Okay, so if we're living in a poison environment, not only breathing it in, not only eating it, but we're also energetically receiving poison, we're going to get sick. And we're seeing this. We have HIV, we have AIDS, we have autoimmune diseases that are rampant. We have cancer that is off the charts. We have fibromyalgia, we have personality disorders, we have mental illness, we have all of these different things. So what I wanted to talk about, and I'm not saying they're not real, I absolutely am not going to tell anybody don't go to the doctors. I absolutely think you should go to the doctors, but I'm just talking about energy-wise and what we can do energy-wise to change these things. So we've talked about soul wounds before, and pardon me for talking so fast. I just don't want this to be a long, lengthy video, but we've talked about soul wounds before. And just to recap, soul wounds are wounds that we carry. We are wounded when a traumatic event happens or when we willfully do something that we shouldn't be doing, and we wound ourselves, or when somebody perpetrates violence against us or neglect, child abuse, even, it could be a word from somebody that hurt your feelings. It could be somebody mistreated you over and over and over. It could even be something, your parents fighting when you're in utero and you're hearing all this. You could create soul wounds that way. And even after years of like psychotherapy, traditional psychotherapy, or working on things, even if you're working on things energetically, if you're walking with the Lord, if you seem to be on a good path, you can still be carrying these soul wounds within your aura or within in your extended aura. We all have an energy field and we carry things within that. So with these soul wounds, sometimes what can happen if you don't get rid of them is they can cause physical illness, they can cause emotional illness, they can cause personality disorders. For instance, autoimmune diseases, if you go back, and I know like Lyme disease is caused by being stung by a mosquito, but why is it that a spiritual healthy person could be stung by a mosquito that is carrying Lyme and not contract it, and then another person may contract it? And I do not blame the victim. That's not what I'm saying. So please don't misunderstand me. Cancer goes back to rage. Autoimmune diseases, Lyme, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, those sort of things, go back to self-hatred. Self-hatred. Lung disease goes to a fear of living, a fear of breathing it in. HIV is also self-hatred. We have many, many diseases that go back. Now, we could take a lot of time and cover this and go through psychotherapy with it. And you know what? You may come to an epiphany of, oh yes, I was abused or this or that. But if you're still carrying around those soul wounds, what's happening is you're still going to create and manifest these different diseases, different personality disorders. Many people that were abused end up with what we call borderline personality or bipolar. Now, I know certain things, like schizophrenia is actually a physical illness. Bipolar is supposedly chemical imbalance. That could be true, but you could be creating these imbalances because of these soul wounds. Sometimes what we do is, okay, so what happens? Let me just explain a little bit. So, when a different event happens to us, we're a little kid and we're abused, we create within us an altar. And what that means is that the wounds, it's almost like a filing cabinet within our soul, this big filing cabinet where we file away all these different events in our lives, good and bad. We can file away miracles. We can file away bad events. And if we're healthy and say a bad event happens to you, you're hit by a car when you're young and you're immediately following, you are loved, you are nurtured, you are cared for. Somebody mistreats you, immediately following, you're loved, you're cared for. You're in a bad marriage where you're abused, but immediately after the abuse, you are loved and cared for. I don't mean by your abuser, I mean by a support system. So if you are in a healthy environment all the way around, and you're blessed to have this, chances are you're still going to file away these things and you're still going to create altars, but they're surrounded by love. So these altars, and all it is like a file, have these like spaces in between, and those spaces, so you've got the negative experience and then it's got the space around it, and in that space is filled with love. Okay, and the reason that we have these files and the reason that we keep them is to use them for later. Maybe we're going to help someone that experienced the same thing, or maybe we're going to use it as a radar for future reference. If we're in that situation again, we're going to know that this is not right. It's going to send up a red flag. That's what we're designed to do, is hold on to them to create wisdom, right? But if you don't have that love and nurturing afterwards, what can happen is you still got this negative experience, and around it, the space filled around it is left empty. So if it's left empty and then you're walking along your path and these negative energies or entities, now we deal with negative energy, which is not it's not intelligent. I'm sorry. It's not intelligent. It's just an energy, and it can find a way to fill that void. But a lot of people don't believe this, but we also have negative entities, and what they want to do is purposely destroy us. So they're going to go in and they're going to actually make a home within our filing cabinet. They could lay dormant for years, just living there, no problem, being fed by all different, we put in another negative file, they're getting fed, they're bringing their buddies in, they're like parasites within our file system, right? Or they could show themselves in different ways. You're trying to live your spiritual path, you're trying to go forward, and you keep having these blocks. Well, not only do you have the soul wounds now that have scabbed up and healed and then scarred, but you also have these energies or entities within your file cabinet. Okay, and what this can create what we believe is a mental disorder or a physical disorder. And the way that it manifests depends on how we handle things, where we're at and how we process things. So, some people will absolutely find their own healthy environment and they'll be able to talk things out. So even if this is going on, they may not develop anything. They just need to clear their field. But if you are drawn over and over, which is common because you have these entities living in there, to different situations that will cause more wounds, then it keeps going and going and going. And we can create either a mental illness or a physical illness. And again, it depends on how we manifest things. Some people are more comfortable in the mental, some people are more comfortable in the physical. And it's really not anything that we can judge from the outside. It's all on an energy basis. So if you find yourself ill, by all means, go to the doctor. And I'm talking about both emotional and physical. There's a place for all of that. But everything should start in the spiritual. Sometimes it's not even a disorder or an illness. Sometimes we find ourselves to be cold or detached from relationships. Sometimes we build these walls. And if you've already got an energy and an entity living in there, you're creating this wall maybe to shut people out, but you're also shutting that negative in. So where's it going to go? It's got to go somewhere. It's got to manifest in a physical illness. It's got to manifest in a mental illness. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you've got, say, I'll just use Lyme disease, for example. So you've got Lyme disease. You go to the doctor. You take your treatment. Please don't stop that. Continue. But you also want to work on that Lyme disease. So there's a way to do this. And I want to tell you that a lot of this stuff is pretty serious. Now, if you're a cancer patient, HIV patient, if you've got a serious mental disorder, even depression, anxiety, some people's anxiety leads them to agoraphobia and they don't even leave the house. All of these things begin with some sort of spiritual problem. Okay, so it starts in the spirit, attaches to your soul, and then manifests either physically, emotionally, and then, even if you are healed, you've got cancer and you're healed from it, you still may have the remnants in your energy field, and you want to get rid of them because you don't want to go through this again. Does any of this make sense to you? I hope so. So what I'm saying is, sometimes you need to work one-on-one with somebody. Sometimes you need a pastor, a life coach, a counselor that knows about spirit. You want to work with somebody that knows about energy, and you want to make sure that that person, just as a side note, whoever you choose to work with, please research the person. Make sure that they're of God. A lot of people claim to be of God and they're not. They have a different idea of who God is. Please don't get yourself, what I'm saying is I don't want you to go for help and end up with somebody who is on the other side and actually creates more of a problem, more trauma. So just as a side note, please be careful, use discernment. But if you need a life coach, I'm just going to put a plug in here, email me. If you want to work one-on-one, I'm going to show you some things that you can do on your own. But if you want to work one-on-one, ANSWERS, the number 4, YOU1616 @gmail.com. Just email me and we'll work out I could do one session. I could do a group session. I could send you emails, however it works for you. I just want to help you with this. So anyway, back to what we could do. Okay, so what you want to do, and this one, everything that I tell you to do can be done very quickly. I'd like you to try this for 7 days if you could. And then you can go back to the quick exercises. But this is kind of important, especially if you're dealing with health stuff or emotional stuff, or if you don't want to develop that. Remember, cancer is rage that has never been let out. Self-hatred, self-loathing, that's autoimmune diseases. Feeling unworthy. Same thing with AIDS or HIV. There's all different things. I mean, each ailment has something that it could be attached to. Okay, so what I want you to do is separate your life into different sections. It depends on you how many you want to do. You can go in utero to 3 years old, 3 years old to 6 years old, 6 to 9, 9 to 12, 12 to 15, 15 to 18, 18 to 22, 22 to 25. You can break it down in sections, okay? And your life, so you know best how to do this. I mean, when we're young, yeah, utero to 3 years old is good. 3 to 6 is good. 6 to 9 is good. But then as you get older, you know how your life was going. And I don't want you to put a lot of thought into this. I want you to let God do the work. Okay. So break down your life into different parts, and each day do 2 different things. Kind of just make a mental note or write down. Now, if you don't like to write, talk into a voice recorder or something. Find some way to record this. Okay. So first of all, do like your daily inventory. today, was I happy? Was I sad? Who did I run into? How did I feel when I talked to them? Did they bring up old memories? Did they make me happy? Did they give me a sense of peace? Blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, okay? Did I do something wrong? Was I a jerk? Did I lose my temper? Whatever the case may be. And then, just take a few deep breaths when you do this. Say you're in utero to 3 years old. Now, you may not remember anything then, and that's okay. But you just want to take a few deep breaths, say a prayer of protection, ask the Lord for discernment, and just write. You may get nothing. You may get peace, happiness, everything's good. Or you may get a memory that something happened to you. You may get yelling, screaming. You may get peaceful, happiness, laughing, whatever it is. And just don't judge it. Just kind of put it there. And you know what? Don't try to recall memories. It doesn't matter. We don't need to bring up old hurts, okay? This is not a psychological evaluation. This is not a psychological session. This is energy. So we don't need to bring stuff to the surface. We need to let it go to God, okay? So you just want to know what's in your filing cabinet, and you don't need to know specifics. You don't need to bring up more hurts, make more wounds, okay? You just want to see what you get. And then each night, what I want you to do is just ask the Lord to take away any and all entities or energies that do not belong, that are not of Him. Spirit of fear, the spirit of confusion, those are not of God. Anything dark, anything not of God, please take it. You know what? If He wants you to have an understanding, if He wants you to know what it is, He'll give it to you. But you don't necessarily need to know what it is, okay? So do this for 7 days. And it can be quite trying because you don't know what you're going to get with this. That's why I say if you need somebody to talk to, definitely reach out to someone you can trust. Don't reach out to 500 people. Don't reach out to all your girlfriends or boyfriends. Don't reach out to just anybody. Reach out to someone you can trust, okay? And you know what? Say whatever is comfortable to you. It doesn't have to be my exact words. When you pray with whatever's, comfortable to you. And then each night, release. Take a few deep breaths. Hold, release, feel all that. Ask the Lord, take away any negative, release it. You can do that for 5 minutes a night, right? And keep kind of a little journal of it. And during those 7 days, I would like you to eat right, drink lots of water, treat yourself right. Each day, give yourself a little treat, whatever that may be. Do you like to take a bath? Take a bath. Do you like to have 10 minutes alone by yourself? Have 10 minutes alone by yourself. Do you like, to go fishing? Do you like, whatever it is, 5-10 minutes, something special for yourself each one of those days, every 7 days, for each 7 days. Take care of yourself, eat as right as you can, sleep as much as you can, be extra good to yourself, because this is, even if you don't feel it within you, it's spiritually cleansing, it's releasing, it's going to wipe you out. But at the end of that, you're clear, okay? You're removing these blocks. You're going to see tremendous differences in your life. You're going to start feeling better physically. If you can get to the root of the spiritual problem, although it's already manifested itself physically, and it has to be taken care of physically. I'm not one of those people that says, oh, just take care of it spiritually and it's gone. Although it could be, God can do anything. But you're going to find that through, medicine, you're going to heal quicker. You're going to be stronger. You're going to have the resources that you need to get stronger. Now, if you're at the point of leaving this world, it's still a good idea to do this. It doesn't mean that God's not going to take you, but you're going to be stronger. You're going to be in a better place, and you're going to release any and all negativity that you need to, whether it be entities, because I'm telling you that Satan is real, and Satan is trying to destroy each and every one of us. He hates all people, even those people who claim to worship him. But those people that love Christ, he really wants to destroy. He wants to bring you down. So whatever the case may be, it's a good thing to do. And like I said, you know, if you're not at the point of leaving this world, you're going to find that your healing is faster. You're going to find that you'll be able to discern more what you shouldn't do medically. um and you know, even as you go through the process, it just seems like things are going to take more. The blocks are removed, the flow is easier. You know, there, we all have trials in this life, and none of this stuff is going to take away the trials. But if you're walking on the path that you need to be on, if you're walking on the path of enlightenment, and if you're going in the direction that God wants you to go, and if you're following him, you're following the promptings of the Holy Spirit, you're going to be in the right place. And there's always going to be an enemy out there. But if you can stand strong against him, if you know that he's out there trying to wreak havoc on your life, you know you're standing in a better position. We're in a spiritual battle, and we can be affected in ways that we don't even think about, because we think, oh, it's just something that's normal. But you know what? God created our bodies to be able to heal themselves, right? And yes, like I said in the beginning, we have toxins in the air, we have toxins in our food, but we also have toxins in our society. We have toxins in our spiritual realm. Okay, there's a spiritual battle going on all the way around us, and we need to stay prepared. We need to stay in the word. We need to stay close to God. We have to keep people around us that are of God, that are also fellow believers. We need a support system, and we need to stand strong in our faith. Okay, we know who wins. All right. So if you're dealing with Lyme disease or any other autoimmune disorder, I studied um natural, oh, what am I trying to say? You know, sometimes I lose my train of thought. Um Healthy eating and that sort of thing. And that can absolutely help too. So if you need some advice on that, or if you just need to talk, or if you want a life coach, I gave you my info. Please, 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 please feel free to contact me. And again, happy Labor Day. And I hope you guys have a great holiday. Back to work next week. I hope everything's good. And if you're not feeling well, if you have some health stuff, I really hope you feel better. Praying for you guys. If you need prayer, absolutely message me too. All right, take care.